This episode of the Accounting Insiders podcast is brought to you in part by Wholesale Payroll, the only payroll software built just for you by people just like you. Take the payroll challenge. Visit wholesalepayroll.com/challenge to learn more.
Hey, it's Gary D. Hart here at Scaling New Heights, wrapping it up on day, I guess it's technically, I don't even know how many days,
I
because
think
it kind of
day 4.
starts on Saturday, but it's Wednesday. It's Wednesday afternoon, so we're wrapping it up. We are here with Caleb Jenkins. Caleb is going to give us kind of his top 3 findings out on the exhibit hall floor, things that he found of most interesting that we'd love to encourage our readers and viewers to go out and just do their own research on these tools that he's talking about, and maybe and their competitors, just to see what's out there. Then kind of a couple of those sessions you set in. So welcome. Thanks for taking a few minutes here.
It's great to be here with your podcast network, and I'm excited to drill into whatever we dig into here.
All right. So what was number 1 on the exhibit hall floor?
Number 1 has to be Digits. Digits, they just released an AI tool last week, and that AI tool is pretty remarkable. I've used Digits ever since I learned of them last year.
Okay.
There was a couple things that I really appreciated this year, though, with CEO Jeff Siebert went on the main stage here, and he talked a little bit about his background as in Twitter and a company that was bought by Twitter, and the whole AI network there inside of Twitter. And then he was actually part of a documentary called Social Dilemma.
Oh, really? Okay.
And which I've heard good things about, but I have not watched it myself.
Right. I've heard about it, but
and so now I'm really excited to go watch it. But so it's from that aspect. So he talks about the negative elements of social media and what they're doing with the data that they are using, and that's the whole premise of the Social Dilemma. Right. But he says what he took from that was going out and developing the Digits product. And that Digits product is using AI in a safe and a ethical way to give back good data to help businesses succeed and make better business decisions. So that comes in as far as all kinds of reporting, but it's also cool things as far as drilling in and trying to understand your business finances, asking questions, and they just released their AI tool. So it's really cool to go and build both the predictive and the generative elements of AI together, and it's pretty neat. So that's my probably top one that I'm focused on.
Is Digits. So go check out Digits.
Yep.
See what you can learn and kind of where they are from leveraging AI.
Yep.
To be a better for the accounting community, to help you increase your role as the advisor.
Absolutely.
Right? And I guess you can also dig into the client's data much easier, much faster, and get a lot more results than you could otherwise.
If a client asks you a question, it's something too that you can just go in and drill into that, then just paste their question in, and then they might create a chart for you, and you can drag that chart into the dashboard and then print a PDF for them or send a link to it too, and it's pretty cool in that respect.
Because you can connect it to your QBO.
Yeah, absolutely.
Does it connect to Xero, or is it
I don't remember.
Agnostic? Do you
I
know?
don't remember that right now.
Okay. All right. So Digits number 1. What was your number 2?
Number 2 was probably there's a combination of two different apps, I would say, and they serve different functions on either side of the fence. One is Ramp for spend management, and then the second one was File, which is more, I would put in the expense management category. Okay. So there's a little bit of a technical difference between those two, but I've been a long-time user of Divi, and I still love Divi, and I'm very committed to Divi. But I love seeing competition, and I love seeing products develop. And so what I loved about seeing with what Ramp is doing is they've got a very good platform for managing your spend, and that's the underlying cards and all the accounting that goes with that, and managing who can spend, when they can spend, and then monitoring that way through it, and that includes bill payments and different things too.
Okay.
So it's a pretty good product in that respect. But the challenge there is sometimes we run into issues when clients do not want to switch from their existing American Express card or something like that. And so in that instance, there's another app called File.
FYLE.
Yes, FYLE, and that app is works with your existing cards, and it's not a spend management platform, so you can't control your spend through it, but you can drill in and automate some of the receipt collection process. You can automate some of the categorization process through their AI tools, and it's a pretty good product from that respect.
And I'm trying to remember, they announced something today. I don't remember what it was.
I didn't look at any announcements had today, so
I
not
talked
sure.
to him today, so I had a conversation like this with him today, and I can't remember what it said. So we'll probably want to cut that out. So
another one in that component too, which is maybe another system, is the Expensify. I'm kind of excited about what they're doing too.
What's the high level on what they're doing?
They've got a new product. It's not new now. It's about a year old, but their Expensify CPA card, or Expensify card, which is another card in the Divvy and Ramp and Brex and then Expensify now. But they are then transitioning their product from just a expense reporting tool into a chat tool. So they are developing, they say that every payment is really a conversation. So that involves payroll, that involves your bill payments, that involves your invoicing. Everything that you're doing, they say, is really just a conversation. So that conversation starts in their chat tool, and that's kind of the whole tool that we've been using for communication here at this conference. So,
oh, really? I didn't realize that.
So we've been trialing it out for them. So it's kind of cool. So that's some cool things that I'm excited about from the exhibit floor here.
Fantastic. What about sessions? What were your top two?
Top two.
So outside, of course, my presentation of the top 100 awards program. Of course, that would be
that one was
the
pretty
most
cool.
exciting.
Yeah,
right?
that was very good. Probably Randy Johnston's on. He dug into tech updates. There was that one was very good. He just goes through, like, he could have a 400-minute session to drill into all that stuff, and it's chock full of information in security and technology, software, hardware, and healthcare, accounting, all kinds of things that he drills into. He focuses mostly on the accounting elements, but there's some personal devices that he digs into and everything. So it's a very, very useful, helpful course. I've did it the last 3 or 4 years that he showed up here.
I've sat through a couple of them before. It's it's a lot of information, but great information.
Probably his handout slide deck material is one of the most useful resources that I use post-conference of any of the sessions that I attend.
Oh, that's awesome.
Just because he breaks down recommendations and products and different things. So if I want to go back and look at, like, hey, what's a good scanner, or what's a really good a new laptop to go purchase, or something, like, I can go back and review it and say, okay, here's the elements that I really should be looking at.
Here's somebody who's already done the work. Yep. Now I can use his knowledge. And so then number two
was there was Eric Green, and he was there with a IRS criminal investigations, the head of the IRS criminal investigations. I forget what his name was, but it was very fascinating. The title of it was Confessions of Tax Evasion, or Tax Evader, and drilling into crimes that the IRS is investigating, and what is the personality types that drive things. And basically, it was fascinating because there's both civil and criminal cases. Civil is mistakes that happen, and there's penalties and there's interest, and you pay back your tax. But crimes, when it's a criminal case, that's when there's willful intent. And so the job of the IRS is to prove willfulness, that it's not just a mistake of some individual, it's not the mistake of the tax preparer, but there was willfulness to go in and break the tax law. And in that cases, that's when people go to jail, when there's criminal cases. So,
well, depending on who they are, but we won't go there.
Potentially, yes. But it's fascinating, just drilling into it, and just hearing the stories that he's given, and the success of the division. it was also really neat too because there's a lot of fear in the community right now with or in general populace about IRS having significant budget increases,
Right.
and all the 87,000 IRS agents and et cetera that you read about in the news, and people fearing that there's all these people going to go around with armed guns
Right.
and whatever. But the
Bringing a bazooka to the office, right? Yeah.
the criminal investigations unit today is 3,000 individuals.
Right.
So if there was 87,000 hired, which there won't be, but if
Right.
there was 87,000 hired, only a small portion of those are going to go to the criminal investigations.
Right.
They're only hiring right now about 850 individuals a year, and that's replacing about 350 that are retiring.
Yeah, so you're only netting, what, 500 people? And plus, they have to be trained.
Absolutely.
Right? And they have to actually know what they're doing and understand what
Yeah.
they're doing. So it's years long. And I was at a meeting with Paget, and I can't remember if it was Roger Harris or Jeff Phillips that said it, but said, all right, they're saying they're going to hire 80,000 people. That is like hiring Delta,
Yes.
the entire employee population of Delta Airlines, in a market when people are not really into accounting.
Correct.
Right? And so
And-
where are you going to find 80,000 people?
And the IRS doesn't pay the greatest wages either.
Exactly
so,
right.
so you're not going to find 87,000 people willing to
Yeah.
work.
I don't think you're going to get 250,000 people applying for those jobs
Yes, no,
anytime soon.
no.
So,
But there was a third session too that I thought was really helpful, which
oh, wait,
was
I'm going to back up. On that one, did he give any, because you said, I think you said he did talk about some of the cases in particular.
Yes.
Was one of them like that was just crazy that you can recall?
He delved into a lot of things about cryptocurrency and digital currencies and just digital assets, and
Okay.
so there was a bunch of NFT cases and a couple other things. That was probably interesting to me. It's just, and one of the things that was probably more interesting than that is he started the presentation with the phrase, "The IRS and the government knows way more than what you think they know."
There we go. Just put it out there.
So
Right.
so and he said, I forget the exact data point, but he said that last year the IRS got more than, I think it was 4 or 5 petabytes of data.
I don't even know what that is.
So a petabyte is, I think, 1,000 terabytes.
Oh gosh. Okay.
And this is like bank statements and credit card statements and maybe QuickBooks files or whatever. But this is all stuff got under search warrant, so you don't have to be worried necessarily about them seeing your QuickBooks file or stuff like that. But under a search warrant, when they can go request and gather this data, they have tons of data, and they are developing very good systems to go to go research this data.
Right.
And then they're also partnering. A couple of years ago, they developed a joint task force with 4 other countries. So they call it J5.
Okay.
And so now, like the Australian and the United Kingdom, and I forget the other countries off the top of my head, but they are now working collaboratively together to fight international crime and to fight other types of money problems. The other interesting thing too is he said that the IRS CI division is focused on far more than just tax. He said their division is focused on anything related to money.
Okay.
So what he says is basically at the heart of every crime,
Right.
unless it's just somebody that is stupid or somebody that does not have emotional capacity to understand what they're doing.
Right.
But at the heart of every crime of narcotics is money.
Right.
At the heart of any other type of crime is money. So they're involved in all kinds of terrorism, money laundering, and other forms of things that they're working on. And those are some of their big targets that they work through.
That's interesting. All right, and then your third and final session.
The third session was on ChatGPT. I mean, this was a focus of a couple sessions, but one in particular was Michelle Long's on ChatGPT,
Okay.
focusing on the artificial intelligence and how we can use it in our firms. It wasn't so much that it was useful for me because I've already used ChatGPT for basically every example she gave. But what was helpful was how she put it together and packaged it together and walked through it.
Okay.
Because as I teach my team, as I teach other clients and how to use it or how we are using it in different ways. It was one of the best frameworks that I've heard for walking down through it. So I will definitely download that slide deck and use that slide deck in other contexts.
That's awesome.
And there was some nuanced perspectives of it too that I learned that were examples of things that I thought were great. I mean, for social media use, like developing a widget within the ChatGPT to go in and create social media posts and whatever. I've done parts of it, but not in the exact way that it was suggested.
Yeah.
And it's like, sweet, yeah, that's awesome in how we can do that. So I already started doing that.
That's fantastic. Well, I mean, actionable intelligence that you picked up here, putting it into action soon or already. You don't have to wait till you get home.
Nope.
Which is amazing.
For me, if I don't put it into practice while I'm here, it may happen, but it's going to happen more after I dig in and spend a lot more time investing in it.
Right.
But if I don't put it into play here, because when I get home, I've got fires I got to put out. So.
Absolutely right. Okay. And actually, so that you may have just answered the question I was about to ask you. I'm going to ask it anyway. And that is, what's the one thing you will do when you get home that you'll learn here that you'll implement? Or did you already do it?
Yeah, I definitely implemented some stuff with ChatGPT, but I will also implement some. Probably the biggest thing is I've got a couple follow-ups of some of the apps I looked at on the exhibit floor.
Yeah.
And then the other piece is I'm going to be working with a couple of the apps on the exhibit floor to further develop their products.
Okay.
And so that will be a lot of fun because we can work through and understand, help them develop their products in such a way that are beneficial to accountants and bookkeepers and to our clients.
And you have a slight interest in technology, apparently.
Just a bare minimum.
So, all right.
Yeah.
Well, great. Well, thank you so much.
Yes.
Thanks for taking some time.
All righty.
Appreciate it.
Have a good day.
This episode of the Accounting Insiders podcast is brought to you in part by Xero. Xero is a powerful cloud accounting software that improves efficiencies across your practice. With all client data stored on a single unified ledger, you and your clients can easily access and collaborate on the same set of books. Xero's advisor tools and automation solutions reduce time-consuming manual tasks and put data entry on autopilot. Work faster and more efficiently than ever before with Xero. Visit xero.com/accountinginsiders to learn more.